how much should you actually be eating during your pregnancy? And are you supposed to eat for two? In this video, I'm dissecting these common questions that a lot of women ask, and I'll be honest with you, get told some infactual information. For those of you new to my channel, I'm Caroline DeMesquita. I've been an online health coach in a functional and competition space for several years now, and I have transitioned a lot of my content to talking about personal women's health, hormone health, as well as self-worth. And today we're talking about in the pregnancy journey specifically, how much food should you be eating? Now, there is a lot of customization that comes into a pregnancy. And first and foremost, you should consult your doctor or your midwife before making any decisions. I do advise that. For a lot of people who follow me, I do work with a lot of competitive athletes, and we are used to eating certain macros and certain calories. For someone who may have started in a caloric deficit and found out they were pregnant, you probably should be increasing your calories pretty quickly to at least a maintenance phase for yourself. So when I found out I was pregnant, I was actually in a deficit, eating about 1,500 calories a day with a couple cheat meals every week. And I bumped it up right away to, I think, 1,800, 1,900 calories for my body weight, which was 135. Now, for someone who might not be as active or you don't track your calories, this is where it gets a little bit more tricky, because in the first trimester, you realistically don't need to increase your calories unless you're in a deficit. Now, the biggest macronutrient of importance, especially as you get further along in your pregnancy, is going to be protein. And as we know, a lot of women are under-eating their protein. Go figure. So you're going to want to increase your protein intake, especially around third trimester. They do recommend 1 gram per body weight in protein, which even for me, that's a lot. So ladies, just be really mindful of that and start tracking your food intake. I will admit, I did not track my food intake first trimester at all, but I have also been eating very similar meals for years, and I know what macronutrients are in the foods that I eat typically. I actually had a little bit of a aversion to protein during first trimester, so that made it a little bit more difficult as well. Now, as you move from first trimester into the second trimester, you will want to increase your calories a little bit. They typically recommend 150 to 200 calories. That can look very easily like either increasing your protein or increasing protein and fats. That's where I would typically lean. You don't need to increase your carbs a whole lot. Unless you're someone with a down-regulated thyroid, then I would be really mindful of your carbohydrates and if you need to increase those at all. Going into the third trimester, they recommend another jump of about 150 to 250 calories. Once again, it just depends on your body composition, your activity level, and also what your doctor is telling you. For me, I'm going to increase probably proteins, carbs, and fats just to help with satiety. But I will caution, I know a lot of women have a hard time eating more food in the third trimester because of less space. And that just is what it is. As your body and your belly get bigger and your organs are getting moved around, your stomach's probably saying, I don't have room for you. And I've even had that now in my second trimester. Some easy options to get calories in would be protein shakes, juices, any fruits, honestly, that are fast digesting. That'll help getting some calories in without slowed digestion. Fats will slow your digestion a little bit. It's also much advised to cook your own food, at least from my perspective, because you'll be avoiding excess oils that you don't know what they are, or excess ingredients that could cause bloating and swelling that you don't want. And honestly, that's the biggest value to meal prepping your own food anyways, is you know exactly what it is you're eating, and usually you feel better doing it that way too. Once again, tracking your macros is a very valuable tool, but you also want to track what are the foods that you're eating. Are you getting enough of certain micronutrients that might change as well? You can check out the other video. I talked about supplements and micronutrition for pregnancy specifically, but at the end of the day, you do not need to eat for two. You need to be very mindful. And let's be honest, no woman's trying to gain 50 to 60 pounds in her pregnancy. It's ideally healthy to gain 15 to 35. That's the normal range. Anything above that, and I personally don't ever want to get above that is being very mindful of sugar intake, of excess fats, and that's where if you're counting or cooking your own food, it should be a lot easier.